What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dissect That Film podcast, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and soon-to-be TV. Today is week 3 of Spooktober, where we are talking about the 2008 thriller The Strangers, which is Adam's pick. I am Brett Parker. Joining me, of course, is DNA Gaming, consisting of Dan and Angela, and the man who picked this movie out, my brother from the same mother, Adam Parker. How are we all doing tonight?
Good.
Fantastic.
I feel like I was like the lead singer of a band, like on stage, just asking that question.
Ooh, yes.
Oh boy. So yes, today we are talking about The Strangers, which was released on May 30th, 2008. On a budget of $9 million, grossing $82.4 million at the box office.
I could see why this movie was made on that kind of budget, just because of how it works.
Yeah. So this made $82.4 million at the box office, which for a R-rated film or a horror film, that's actually pretty good. Like that, if you can get around $100 million for a horror movie and an R-rated movie, you're doing pretty good. Especially a movie that this movie was only 85 minutes, an hour and 25 minutes. That is super short. But I mean, I feel like it was the perfect length for everything that happens in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to all the fun trivia and all that, let's go around the room and talk about what we thought of the film. And we are going to start with the man who picked it out. Adam, go for it.
Well, I picked this film because, well, I wouldn't say it's like the scariest movie I've ever seen. It's more of like a thriller to me, but I've always had like this connection to it because it just feels so real. It's something that could actually truly happen and has actually happened because it's actually partly based off the Manson murders. So it just always gave me that eerie, uncomfortable feeling when I watched it, which is what I like to feel when I'm watching a horror or a thriller. So it still hasn't lost that feeling after I watched it today again. It's just one of those, like, I would hate that to happen to me, for sure. That's my take.
Angela?
My first time watching it, scared the crap out of me a couple times. It was good. Would I watch it again? Probably not, because I'm a big pansy, and I don't like scary movies like this. But it was good.
Dan?
It's good. This is the first time I've seen it. I'm not big into this like suspense, like jump scare kind of horror films. Are not really my cup of tea. But I think this film, for how it was done, without spoiling anything, how the film was shot, and the budget you mentioned, makes perfect sense. This was all like essentially how it was. I'm going to say too much. Anyway, it was great. I like how they did it. I like how it was very self-contained, and it was good. It was really good how they did it. I think they did a great job.
This is I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. I've seen this movie quite a bit. I've seen it a few times with Adam. I love just the different shots. I love how it's slow in the beginning, but as with a movie that's only an hour and 25 minutes, it's not that slow. Like it builds up that suspense. Even, me and Adam talked about this a little bit yesterday before we were just talking about this movie. The subplot of the whole failed proposal, like she, the guy, he proposes to her, she says no, and you got that whole thing. At first, I was kind of like, why is this here? But then we kind of talked about it. I was like, okay, it makes sense that it built, there is really no happiness at all in this movie. There is no period of joy at all in this movie, and I think that makes it so much better than if it was like happy times and then bam, things are going on. It's dark from the beginning until the end, and I think that's what makes it great. But the shot of her in the kitchen getting a beer, she either gets a beer or she gets some water, and the masked man comes in and he's just standing there staring, which is actually the cover of the poster, which I didn't, which kind of throws it off. I don't like that because that's one of my favorite shots of the whole film.
It is the best, I think, of the whole movie.
That's what scared me first. That's when I messaged you, and I was like, I just got the shit scared out of me.
Well, and it's great.
It was that scene.
Yeah,
well, I mean, because you don't hear anything.
No,
it does. Nothing actually like really comes of it. It's just there to freak you out, and then whoop.
Because I was watching her do her stuff, and then it just happened to catch out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, Yeah.
Actually, the reason I like that shot, outside of it just being a really good shot, it's composed very well. Is the fact that she's in the house with it locked up, and obviously they can get in and out whenever the hell they feel like it. Like they are in total control of what's going on. She has they can do what they want, and it literally just makes you uneasy for the rest of the film. It was great.
Absolutely terrifying.
The fun fact about that part is the first time I watched it, I was watching it with a friend, and I didn't even notice him. And my friend was like, "What the hell was that?" And we were actually like, I didn't even see it. I was paying attention to her, and he saw it. And he saw it. We rewinded it, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's creepy." But he's so subtle with it. Like, if you don't like, now that I've watched it, he's so good with how he just like he makes it almost seamless when he walks into the room. There's no like jump or anything to it. He just like it's almost like he becomes part of that whole scene like perfectly.
So as Adam said before, this movie, so of course you get it's inspired by true events, which means it's not things happened that were similar to this experience. This wasn't like identical to anything. So this movie was written originally by the guy who ended up directing the movie, Brian Bertino. He wrote the film by a different name. I think it was called The Faces. And it was indie. It was it was going to be an independent film, and he ended up selling it to Universal. He put it into a screenplay contest and won. And then in order for the film to get made, he had to turn in the script to He had to sell the script to Universal, meaning that his name was completely taken off of it.
Oof.
There was a lot of directors that were put up for this film, including Justin Lin, who does like a lot of the Fast and the Furious movies and other movies that I really can't think of right now. But he ended up coming back. Like they ended up asking him to come back and direct it, which was pretty cool since it was his initial idea. He based it off of a childhood experience. Well, one of the inspirations, there's many inspirations to this film. One of them was as a child, somebody knocked on his door. He went to the door, answered it, and it's the same thing as in the movie where somebody asks for someone who doesn't live there, just a random name. Hey, is this person home? And they say no. But instead, they would just go to a house where if somebody didn't answer the house, they would break in because he found out like a bunch of houses on his street got broken into. As Adam said, it was based on the Manson murders because the director was reading Helter Skelter. There was a huge inspiration from that book. Which is the Manson murders, about the Manson murders through the eyes of I believe one of the attorneys from the trial. And then the final one was the Ketty Cabin murders, which occurred in Ketty, California in 1981. But Bertina doesn't accept that as one of the references, but it's a very similar situation. As is this film. Also, there was a French film that came out that was called They, which came out 2 years before this, which was literally the same premise. It was two people who were getting terrorized by unknown people. There was a whole thing where they just figured out that it was just coincidence that they were similar films. A sequel came out 10 years later called The Strangers Pray at Night, which didn't fare as well as this movie, but it had a smaller budget, and it actually takes place directly after this film.
Really?
Yes. And it's not like this film at all. It's more of your typical slasher film where the three, the strangers as they're known, or the faces, they stalk another family, or they go to like a trailer park and stalk a bunch of family. It's on Netflix. It's not, from what I've heard, I think Adam is probably the only one who's seen it. I haven't seen it. It's not, like I said, it's not like this one. This one is very suspenseful and slow, and just everything that happens. It's just like everything to me. This movie is just like, I've seen it so many times, but it's still like, I still get nervous. Like especially when when something is about to happen, you're like, man, damn it. No,
it's the freaking music for me, man.
Oh,
the music
yeah.
makes me so uneasy.
Well, I noticed early on, at least it may have been just us, I didn't really hear a lot of music in the movie.
No, it was more from the record player.
Record player.
Yeah,
just the record player.
See, that's what I thought, because he was listening to it early on, and then it kept coming up. I was like, oh, okay.
This film was shot in chronological order, which is very rare for film.
Yes.
Usually, they'll film a scene here and a scene here and a scene here, and then they have to kind of put it all together. No, this film was literally from beginning to end, That's how it was filmed, which is so rare, but I think it's cool as hell.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you watch a lot of behind the scenes on a lot of movies, you don't really see that happening. It's like, yeah, we filmed the first scene of the movie last, and we filmed the last scene of the movie first. You're like, how does that even work? Like, it's so weird that you can do that.
There was
we watched the other, it was 13 Ghosts. Like there was that scene at the end. It was filmed like months after.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, it was the extra scene where you see all the ghosts walk away into the night.
Yeah.
It was additional film scenes they
Like,
shot at the end of the movie.
way later.
Mm-hmm.
Retakes, reshoots.
Yeah.
That's it.
There was this fact. I don't know if it's on IMDb, but there's a fun fact that Liv Tyler, the big thing with the director was she didn't want to see her to see the mask that the father wears until she actually sees it when they're filming. And the part where she opens the window and he's standing right there, they had to stop filming because she had like an anxiety attack because she hadn't seen what he looked like yet.
Nailed
I
it.
don't blame her.
Yeah.
I would. Jeez.
Listen,
GG.
To be honest, I've said a lot of I've always been tossed about Liv Tyler in this movie and Liv Tyler as an actress, period, because she's very similar in most of her movies. But I feel like they cast like she was perfect casting because she's she's very good at showing emotions and very good at crying and just being scared. Like, I think she did a pretty good job in this movie. Scott Speedman, he's in this movie. Like, and I mean, to be honest, I think every actor in this movie does a really good job at what they need to do.
He's kind of a piece of crap.
Yeah. So the outside of the house was all built, but there was no houses that they filmed this at. This was all built by set designers. The inside was on a sound stage, which is really cool because I love just where they have this house set. Liv Tyler, if you didn't know, for anyone out there who didn't know, is the daughter of Aerosmith vocalist Steven Tyler. And his band, before he became big with Aerosmith, was called The Strangers. Weird fact, but hey, it's there.
How fitting.
Right? The Dollface first makes an appearance making it... she's the one who's asked if Tamara is home. She's that character. Gemma Ward, who plays this character, also played in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, which is the worst Pirates of the Caribbean movie, in my opinion. And she plays a character called Tamara.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first 3, so I don't know. I'll take your word for it.
Listen, we're going to get to those movies at some point on the show.
I know.
So there's 5 of them.
Let's find the 6th Italian version, please.
Yeah.
The song Mama Tried, which is used in the film during the very intense scenes, is credited to Merle Haggard and The Strangers on the original song.
It's Merle Haggard. Come on, dude.
Is it Merle or what is it?
Merle.
Whatever. Whatever.
Don't whatever.
Whatever. Whatever, Merle.
I'm just messing with you again.
Everybody in the South's like, fuck you, guy. Yep, that's happening.
He's a Midwesterner.
Yeah, I'm a Midwesterner. What do I know?
This is when people finally comment on the videos. Like, fuck this guy.
Fuck this asshole.
What was the we're gonna do this every time there's vehicles in this movie. There are 3 vehicles in this car. Can you name? Okay, we're gonna go first. What is James's car?
It is a '86 Volvo 240.
Did you know that, or did you look it up?
I remembered it because I looked at the stuff last night, but I knew it was a Volvo. But I was looking at the stuff.
The pickup that the Strangers pick, or the.
I know this. It's I didn't know specifically. I knew afterwards, but it's a 60. It's a 70 to 72. It's actually a 72 Ford F-150 or F-100.
Mm-hmm.
F-150 wasn't a trim at this point.
And the vehicle that Mike drives.
I know it's a Jeep Cherokee. I don't know what year it is.
1984.
This is exactly why the budget's low. This movie takes place in 2005. Why does nobody drive newer vehicles than this? Like, this is like the shit I would drive. What is wrong with these people?
No, because you made mention because in Beetlejuice, he's like, "Oh, they drive a Volvo too."
Yeah. Well, see, that was it. Because I knew it. But what I'm saying is, like, they seem like well-to-do kind of people, right? Or at least pretty decently well off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't care, But you would assume they would drive some kind of newer vehicle.
Maybe he's like you.
And he likes old pieces of shit like I do? Absolutely. If he does, kudos to them.
Oh,
whoever bought these cars.
Fixing my mistake from earlier, the French film that was kind of similar to this one is called Them. I don't know. I think I said they, but it's called Them, and came out in 2006.
Yeah, this one doesn't have Rowdy Piper in it. So
the scene where the man in the mask hacks away the front door is a reference to The Shining, because of course, anytime somebody takes an axe to a door, it's got to be a reference to The Shining. And if you don't know what scene that is, it's the scene that Jack hacks down the bathroom door to get to Wendy. And goddamn,
firefighter's just hacking down to save somebody. This is a reference
to The Shining,
right?
But he didn't say here's John.
No,
so.
well, and another trivia fact is that he is the only one who doesn't talk. Yeah.
Yep.
No, Dollface and was it? I'm trying to think of their names. It's Dollface, Pinup Girl, and
Dude in the Mask or whatever. Man in the
Mask. Yeah.
He's Axe Dude to me.
I called him Baghead, but
Baghead.
That's brilliant.
It's very similar to the bag. It kind of looks similar to the bag that Jason wears in Friday Part 2. And also they make kind of a reference to if you guys have seen, I don't know if you guys have seen the Fear Street trilogy that came out on Netflix. There's a killer that wears he's kind of a throwback to Jason, and it kind of reminds me of that.
Very cool.
So yeah, Liv Tyler suffered from tonsillitis during shooting, which is just awful.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, So before filming any scene after the strangers began terrorizing the couple, they made Liv Tyler run laps, do jumping jacks, and other physical activities to get her out of breath, to help simulate the panic her character would have experienced. Wild. This movie got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes,
that is unfair.
It's not. I think it should have got a better score. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it did better than the sequel. So,
from the sounds of it, the sequel pretty much just took all the fun out of it. Like, oh, this movie's fairly unique. Let's just take all of that away and make it a slasher film.
I think that the one thing I do have to give props to is that they use the same. Like, I like how it is a continuation of this film. It's not like they just were like, we're going to use the name The Strangers and then it's going to be a completely different. No, it's literally the Strangers. I think the movie might open to the final scene you see here with them driving away.
Yeah, as I say, at the end, they drive away, and then the start of the second one is them in the truck again.
Mm-hmm.
And then they enter the new area where they terrorize.
Yep.
You figure they'd rest up between, like get a nap?
Yeah,
she says it's going to be easier.
No time to rest.
Yeah, it's going to be easier next time.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
True. That is spoken.
All right. Are we ready to do the plot?
Yes.
All right. So the movie opens with the really cool voiceover of like how this is based on true events, and it pretty much summarizes. It pretty much makes it out like this: the exact events that happened in this movie happened in real life.
To the FBI, there are an estimated 1.4 million violent crimes in America each year. On the night of February 11th, 2005, Kristen McKay and James Hoyt left a friend's wedding reception and returned to the Hoyt family's summer home. The brutal events that took place there are still not entirely known.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre did the
same.
Yeah.
They did the same. I mean, this is what 2000s horror was. It was this style.
But Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in like 73.
No. Well, there was that one, but no, I'm talking about like
remake.
I'm talking about the remake, the one with Jessica Biel,
which is actually a pretty good movie.
Yes, I do agree. I do agree. Actually, I see. No, I didn't see it in theaters. I do have that on DVD.
Movie idea.
Mm-hmm.
Review idea right there.
So
that is a good one.
They show a bunch of houses during it's kind of like flashes of different houses, and every house is a different big time horror movie house. So one of them is the Elm Street house, one of them is the Amityville house, and what was the last one? And one was the Myers house from Halloween.
Where's the Beetlejuice house?
I don't know.
This is horse shit. I want my money back.
We then get a 911 call of a kid who's just frantically crying, trying to tell this operator what's going on, that there's blood everywhere, and it's bad, and it's terrifying. But it also shows, as this is happening, it shows these two kids who are guessing Jehovah Witnesses, or people trying to convert people to,
No.
or what are they? What's it trying to convert people to the church, right?
But they are.
They said they were Mormons or something, but
they
they
are
don't,
not Mormons.
but it's not correct.
Because Mormons are.
They have to be older than a certain age.
They have to be over 16 or whatever, like they
Mhm.
tell them. And Mormons are not. They don't carry the pamphlets that
Right.
about being a Christian or whatever.
No.
Yeah, so we get the 911 call, and then the kids wander into the house and they see the blood, but you don't see anything else. You don't, you just pretty much you see blood and you see how the house is in pieces. We meet our main characters, Kristen and James, played by Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. What a name. Good old Scott Speedman.
This dude means nothing to me. I don't know him from anything. You've told me I don't know.
You just weren't
I want to
a
keep
girl.
saying his name like he is like one of the most famous actors around. All right.
We should just wear like
Underworld.
shirts.
Go
Scott
watch Underworld
Speedman.
with Kate Beckinsale and Scott Speedman.
Or if you grew up watching Felicity like I did.
Is that the one with who's the main actress in that?
I know her name.
She was in The Americans, the show The Americans. Carrie Russell, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm
I'm
glad
gonna
I
take
got
her.
figured that out.
It's right there.
He looks like an
So-
asshole there too.
Apologize, Scott Speedman. You're probably a great guy.
Probably is.
So we get two sad people in a car, and Adam just don't. From the looks of it, things aren't going well in their relationship. Did they break up? Oh wait, she said no to a proposal. It shows them having a good time at a wedding. He carries her outside. You're all happy for him, and then he takes out a ring, and then she has that like, I'm gonna say no face.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it takes them a minute to figure out what's going on. Because you're sitting like, why the fuck is she crying? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
It's weird because they like have things out of order of like
Yeah, they, like,
when it
jump
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. And there's just a lot of drama around this. It pretty much shows them leaving the wedding, going home, and they don't really talk to each other. She she's getting ready for bed, but she can't go to sleep, and he's like, what is he ends up eating something at the table.
cream.
Oh yeah, he
Ice
takes out a
cream.
big carton of ice cream.
Bluebell, right?
Bluebell ice
Yeah,
cream.
and starts eating that, and
Good
this is where I'm like, okay, we could have cut some of this. I feel like we could have cut down on some of this. Like, all right, we understand it's a bad situation, but I don't need to watch him eat ice cream for 5 minutes. But then they start getting frisky. They're about to get it on, and then that's when you get your first knocks at the door. And
Like at this point, we're like what 20 minutes into the movie.
yeah, pretty much.
There's a lot of fluff at the beginning.
Yes.
like
very much.
establishing what's going on with these people.
And like I said, if you could have cut like even 5 minutes of this shit where it's like, I understand what's happening. All right. I got the point. I get what happened. They're sad. They're both sad in their own ways. But the problem is this movie was already an hour and 25 minutes. And I don't know oh God, I know we've talked about it on an episode of the show, but there's like a limit you have to hit for
Was
it
it like
to
an
be
hour and 15 or something
Okay,
like that?
so
It
yeah.
was 71 minutes, I think it was. or
Okay.
something.
So
It was something random.
yeah, it's one of those things that I think they had to put they had to extend this out to be like, we got to make sure we can get this into theaters.
They
Whatever.
could have flip-flopped it around where they started at the party
Yeah. Yeah.
first and not, watch her smoke a cigarette for
Oh
2
my
minutes.
God.
And take a bath.
and take a bath. Like,
The saddest bath ever.
mm,
So so they're about to get it on, and the door. Someone knocks at the door, and then and literally James goes, "It's 4 a.m. Who's at the house?" And it's like, they don't fucking answer it.
They look at the clock to confirm it's 4 a.m.
Yeah,
Shows it on
it's 4
screen.
a.m. Don't answer your damn door.
Dan was correct. It's 75 minutes or longer.
Okay.
I was
That's
just a
close.
shot in the
Very
dark.
close.
I
Good
did
job.
good.
Good job. So yeah, that was God, every time I'm like, why if someone knocked at my door at 4 a.m., I would not answer it. 100%. I would look at it's 2021 and I have a camera outside my house, but it's but like, don't answer your door. You are in the middle of nowhere. Just chill out. All right.
They can't be that far in the middle of nowhere.
The
I mean,
crazy
they're
thing
not
is
really-
But no, I know what you're saying, but like, I'm assuming they're in like a suburb.
There's a neighbor across the street. You can see like the lights across the street.
Yeah, it's weird how they lay all this out.
Yeah, I agree. They don't really put it in stone, like where this house is, as opposed to other stuff.
Because there's some scenes where it looks like they're in the middle of nowhere. And then there's some scenes where, yeah, like Adam said, there's lights across the street. And you're like, okay, there's a neighbor right there. No one hears anything.
I mean, look at where my grandmother lives. She has a long driveway. She has neighbors on both sides, but
they're far
blocked
away.
off. They're blocked off by a bunch of trees. So yeah, they have neighbors that could potentially hear.
Right.
But she's set far enough back that you'd have to yell pretty loud to.
Oh, and
you mean like if someone was trying to kill you?
Well, yeah, but I mean it's 4 a.m.
Right.
You know, most people are asleep at this time.
Touche.
Oh, and I want to mention that James calls his friend Mike to come get him because clearly he doesn't want to be there in this really weird, awkward situation. Which I don't completely blame him.
Yeah, I'd want to be home.
So you get to see where she's like sitting at the table and she's like, "I'm out of cigs.
I'll go get
some for you."
Smoking like a damn chimney.
Holy crap, man!
Smoke a whole pack before you get home.
So
She's just rolling them up.
Yes. So James decides I'll go get you some cigarettes. So he goes outside. He leaves. Shows him driving, and I was like, okay, we needed that scene for no reason.
All he had to do was just leave.
But
leave
he was
and
drinking.
shut the door. Yeah, but he was. But all he has to do is just leave. Like we don't need him in the vehicle. Just leave.
Yeah, just leave and then show him coming back. You don't need to show the shot of the car driving down the road and then nothing else happening. Okay, cool. We understand what's going on. Whatever. So Kristen is all alone, and that's when you hear the knocking again. Don't answer the goddamn door.
Amara's home, damn it.
Oh, wait. So wait, we didn't talk about it. So the first time they knock at the door when James is there, they go to the door. He cracks it open. He says, "Hello, can I help you?" And she's like, "Is Tamara here?"
Is Tamara here?
No, you got the wrong house.
The porch light isn't working either.
Yep, that's right. And he's like, "No one by that name lives here." And so she, "Oh, thank you," and then like walks away. And
she does say "see you later," and she wasn't lying. So
well, doesn't she say, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah.
And then when she's walking away, she says "see you later." She was lying.
Nope, she wasn't wrong. So yeah, then
I did read a goof about his light bulb. When he turns the light bulb, he screws it the wrong way. He turns it in the wrong direction.
Good job, James.
Light.
Good job, Scott Speedman.
No.
Doesn't even know how to turn in the light bulb.
This is a joke for later. I thought you told me you replaced light bulbs with your dad. That's just something I said.
Oh god, this is when you know that it's in a certain part of the country.
Yeah.
So we get the whole thing where she needs cigarettes, he leaves, and then she's kind of just chilling. She plugs in her phone because her phone's not working, right?
Yeah, it's dead. The battery's dead. Flip phone. Dated.
So another knock happens and she answers the door by herself because why not? It's the same girl. She asks the same question. Is Tamara here? Or does she say is Tamara here or is Tamara home?
I can't remember.
Is Tamara home?
And so she, it's the same interaction just with Kristen.
Hello? Is Tamara home?
She locks the door. Will lock the door. So she goes over. She plugs her phone into the chimney. There's like an out. I just said she plugged it into the chimney. No, there's a plug next to the chimney. She plugs it into. But she goes back, and the chimney is starting to smoke. So somebody plugged up the chimney, and is pretty much trying to smoke her out. And that's when you get another knock at the door. But every time the knock, we get a new knock, it's more aggressive. Like instead of just a normal knock, it's like now somebody's like slamming on the door. She's starting to freak out. She's trying to call James, and she does call James, and he doesn't he's just kind of blowing her off. This is one of those things where she's a grown ass adult who can have experiences, and immediately he's just shooting everything down. Like, no. And you're like, man, you suck, dude. James, you suck.
I told you. Like, no. And also, did you notice? Like, it wasn't until after the second knock and the tomorrow whatever thing that she locks the door.
Yeah. So the door.
And
yeah.
maybe they're just that type of people. Like, I keep my doors locked.
Oh yeah.
Personally.
100%, man. I'm the same way. We get the shot of her getting a glass of water. She's standing in the kitchen, kind of facing towards the window in the kitchen, and that's when you see the man in the mask kind of creep out of the shadows and just stand there. It's such a
good. Dude.
It's the best shot of the film, in my opinion.
It is.
It's so great because you don't hear anything. You don't like hear him walking. You just see him appear, and then he just disappears. We get more knocking, and there is just and it's just super aggressive. She goes up to the door. So the smoke detector starts going off because of the smoke. She knocks it down to turn it off. She changes. We get that cool scene with the man in the mask. I'm gonna call him Baghead because it's easier to say.
Works for me.
And we get more aggressive knocking. She goes to the door and she's like, stop or whatever. And does she end up opening the door again?
I can't remember.
It opens they open it.
Right.
And then she slams it shut and then locks it again.
Yeah.
But she notices the smoke detectors on the chair.
Yes.
And that her phone cord is cut.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude.
I was like, how did you get there, Mr. Smoke Detector? And so many things are happening in this one scene. This is we get the shot of her phone in the fire.
That's later when he comes back.
Okay. Yeah, it's after James comes back.
So this is when she goes to the back of, there's like, they have sliding doors in their living room, and she goes back there and she opens up the curtain, and Baghead's standing there, which freaks her out.
Is that where she gets the knife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We so we get surprised, it's Bagface and his friend Dollface.
Yay!
We get the record skipping as Kristen hides in her room, and it's on that weird what's the line of the song?
I can't even remember.
So yeah, you get the cool the record. So she hits the record table, causing the record to skip, which it keeps repeating the same line over and over again as she's trying to hide in her room, and she's just sitting there. Yeah, and she's sitting there, and you can hear like the noises out in the hallway, and you think like you're waiting for one of the strangers to come down the hallway and get her, but instead it's Scott Speedman. I'm sorry, I have to come into the rescue. Yeah, he comes out to so of course she's hiding, she's terrified, she's trying to tell James everything that she's seeing, and she, of course, he doesn't believe anything she's saying. And you're like, of course not, because you suck.
He's a dickhead.
And I raved, but the way she says it in the song sounds totally bad.
Yeah. So yeah, and I put literally typical that he doesn't believe her, because that's just that's the thing that annoys me about a lot of these horror movies or about movies in this period of time, is there's always like the woman goes through an experience, tells somebody else, and they're like immediately they're like, nah, I have to experience that thing before I believe you, dude. And you're like, fuck you.
Another thing is, why is she like, one thing like classic more horror movie horror movie trope, this happened earlier, after they started like beating on the door and stuff, she's like wandering through the house. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, just stay in your room. Freaking lock your bedroom door. Just stay in there.
Doesn't she cut her hand on the lamp?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, this was before James gets back. She cuts her hand on the lamp when she goes in the room. She does something on the lamp.
Because he sees that her hand's cut, and he wraps it with his tie.
She can't turn the damn thing off, so she smashes it.
Yep. Yeah, which is so weird. Like, what kind of lamp do you have? She like picks it up. She's like,
turn off, the clapper won't work.
I think by now, the first time I watched this movie, without saying any more of the plot, is when it started feeling eerie to me, because you can tell by this point in the movie that they're not there to kill them immediately. They're there to literally play with them. Like, like it's cat and mouse. Like they're just there to slap them around and terrorize them.
Chucky, wanna play?
Yep. Well, that's what I said, when you see him in the background in that one shot when she's in the kitchen, he's like, This is my shit.
So James walks around the house looking for things and can't find anything. And we get the shot of her phone in the fire. We get them looking out Kristen looks through the window. She's like, James, come and see. And he comes over and it's the freaking creepy girl. It's just standing in the distance staring at them. And then they kind of like turn away and look again and she's gone.
Teleport. Boom.
James is like, screw this. We're going to get out of here. Well, before that, he goes outside and notices his car's all smashed up. His tires are slashed. His windshield's smashed in. He goes back in the house and all this shit's going on. He was going to get his phone. Yeah, he was going to get his phone.
Why you leave your phone in the car?
I don't know.
Nice. They were with the cigarettes.
Yeah. So he goes back. He's like, screw this. We're going to go even though my car is destroyed. And they go outside. He gets in, and right before, that's when you get the lights shining from the truck behind them. He gets out before the truck literally freaking just drives. It smashes into this car, and it does it like 3 or 4 times, destroying it.
Waste of a good truck.
Yeah, he runs back. Yeah, but the thing is they drive away with it later on, and like at the end of this movie. So
you beat the piss out of it. You got to change all the header panel and stuff. It's just waste of a good truck.
I mean, the truck is probably fine.
Oh, that's a little banged in.
The car, no.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, the truck is
made
of tougher material.
I just hate to see that nice truck get beat up.
You also get the scene where he is sitting in the driver's seat and the hand comes and touches his shoulder and he turns and there's no one there.
Yeah, these people are fast.
So they run back inside. So he runs back inside. Well, she's sitting there going, what's happening? What's happening? I'm like, shut up. Kristen, get back in the house. That's what I was saying. He was just...
Well, the scene that the truck is smashing them is when they both try to get in the car and leave.
It's all a blur. It's all like the same shit going on here.
He gets his phone and realizes the battery is
out. Because they go back in the house and then she like scares her because he's by the door. Oh, James, is so worried. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So he's like, I got to get a gun. So he goes and finds a gun. And then he's got to find the bullet. So he's, the typical like throwing boxes around in a closet trying to find some bullets.
It's always in a damn shoebox in the closet.
And then you find out James has no idea how to use a gun. And she's like, but your dad, but what does she say? She says like, but your dad used one, right? Like you've seen your dad
I
use
thought you went hunting with your dad.
Ah.
And he's like, no, I just said that.
I don't know how to use this thing.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure I even know how to load it.
But you said you used to hunt with your dad.
No, I never did. It was something I said.
It's like, what?
Way to go.
Like, just a guy looking to be cool. Stupid.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I know how to load this thing.
Load it. Like, what?
I didn't take long for him to figure it out, though. Like, once he gets the barrel and stuff on there, he's like... And, like, she even does it later, like, loading shells and shit. Like, all right.
She takes, like,
she's, like, throwing them in his pocket.
Yeah,
Here, have
she's, like,
candy.
a bunch in his pocket.
And then they try to go out the front door again, and that's when Baghead starts axing the door like Jack Torrance. And they throw a bunch of furniture in front of the door to prevent him from getting in. They go back into the bedroom, and that's when they, like, lean up against a wall, and he's got the shotgun aimed at the door, and
he blasts the door. And
yes, he shoots one shot because he sees door. You get the shot of the crack in the door, and you see Baghead on the other side, and he takes the shot. Baghead disappears, and then they run into the bedroom, and they hunker down in the bedroom.
I got one thing.
How do you miss that close?
No, okay, hold on.
How do you miss?
Hold on. Okay, hang on. This is a common misconception. I know kind of shots, and there's probably buckshot if you went hunting with his dad. I'm assuming it's buckshot. Shotguns do not spread as much as people think at that range. Like, I know it's for a film, and he probably shouldn't miss, but I have a feeling that Baghead probably didn't calculate for him having a gun. Like, it just, for some reason, like, it just does not, I don't know, it just feels like he didn't, because you never see him really do anything once they get the gun until what's coming up.
They just pushed the piano into the door.
It's a cool shot, though. I like when you, like, see his head out the door, and they're like, oh. Yeah. And then he's just gone. I'm like,
yep. So they hunker back down.
I love when he throws the kitchen chair like that's going to do something.
Right?
just anything. So, yeah, music starts playing as they wait there. I don't remember what song it was, but another song plays on the record player.
Wasn't it Mama Tried at that point?
Oh, okay.
Because it played a lot in the movie. One of the
'Cause it-
songs played.
Because Mama tried was-
Merle Haggard.
It was playing when she went and hid because it all of a sudden stops
Yeah, because she messed it up, and I think they re-situated it.
because that's when he shows up.
We meet Mike,
Mike.
who is the friend of Yeah, who is the friend of James. He is at their house and he's on the phone trying to call James, be like, "Hey man, I'm here. I'm here for you." Blah blah blah. Even though he's like, "I really just don't want to be here though, because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning and or however much time has passed between." It was 4 o'clock in the morning. What time is it now? Who cares? He then his car gets attacked, but you don't see who does it. You just see the windshield gets smashed in. He gets out all like, what the fuck? He wanders towards their house and he sees James's car all smashed up and the truck parked behind it. And he's like, "What is going on?" And the thing is like he announces himself outside the house. He's like, "James, Kristen, hey, is anyone here?" Outside. But once he gets in the house, he says nothing.
It's just weird. You figured he would holler.
Like, if you notice that, like, clearly, if you're Mike and you see things that are like, you see the situation, it's got to be a home invasion, correct? Like, you would assume that's what's going on. So first, if I'm Mike, call 911.
Yes.
And maybe don't venture into the house.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea.
Walk, or at least go in, like, to the entryway of the house and just announce yourself. Like, "Hey, who's that?" Like, "Hello?"
Yeah,
Like, maybe
I agree
you're either
100%.
gonna, get the people that are in there out of there, or they're gonna make yourself known. Because boy,
no.
Mike gets fucking destroyed. He wanders
What does
down the
he do?
hallway. And he doesn't make any noise. I mean, he does, because they're sitting in the room and they can hear footsteps going down the hallway. And so they think it's one of the strangers. And you get the great shot of Mike kind of like creepily going down the hallway, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And you got Baghead behind him with the axe, and he's about to freaking hack him. And then we get that he gets blasted. He walks in front of the doorway, and James blows him away.
Okay, he does say something right before he gets shot, though.
Yeah, I think he says James's name.
Oh, does he see him right before he gets shot?
No, I think he's looking behind him, right? Because he realizes somebody's behind him.
Well, he's looking off. When he goes in the house, he picks up something metal.
He picks up the typical the fire pick thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So he's walking in, and like you said, call 911. You see all this shit everywhere.
Yeah, it's stupid. You're just putting yourself in danger. Well, either way,
but yeah,
he was probably going to die regardless.
He was either going to get axed in the back or get shot.
Well,
because I said both of those things. I said, dude with the axe is behind him. I said he's either going to get axed there or James is going to shoot him. Yeah.
See,
he was screwed.
Yeah, I was very mad at Mike for not taking those
you're
proper
dumb.
precautions.
You're dumb.
Mike,
I mean,
Horror
he was half asleep, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Horror tropes.
But I mean, you see the door half axed open.
And all the shit piled from him in trucks hitting the back of his thing.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I mean, if
2 and
my
2.
car...
Actually, the first hit should have been the rock that was thrown through his window.
Yeah. I would have been like, nope, I'm out of
These
here.
little
Bye.
dents. Give him a moment.
So
They
Mike
never said he was smart.
Yeah, Mike was played by Glenn Howerton, who is famous for, he's one of the main characters from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Other than that, I don't know much about him. But yeah, he has a very short-lived role in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So James then goes, of course he grieves over Mike's body. He figures out it's Mike, and and then you got freaking Kristen's like, "What's going on? What is it? Who is it?" And he's just like, I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, I just fucking murdered my best friend.
Don't go look. Don't go look.
I know. It's Mike. It's Mike.
Yeah. So he decides he needs to go to the barn because he knows there's a radio out there to call for help. And that's when he opens up the blind again, and it just says "killer" on the window.
Yeah. Dude, whether they did that intentionally or not, they had them people so unnerved that that situation seems realistic.
Yeah.
If you have people like the first person they see, they're just gonna, because they're not expecting anybody to be there.
Yeah.
So
We
I thought it was
didn't
good.
talk about how the first time they see the windows, it says hello all over it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I go, damn, Sackhead be running fast as they all surround James. Like James goes out there and he freaking gets like swarmed by them all. Like they're all just like, just get him. And then he just disappears.
Because he was about to shoot, was it the pinup coming out of the shed?
Yes, he sees her coming out of the shed. And that's when
Usain Bolt comes.
Yeah,
over.
Baghead literally is sprinting at him.
Yeah.
And then that's the last we see of James until the end of this movie. Kristen waits as Sackhead wanders back into the house. She books it to the barn and she face plants into a ditch and fucks up her leg. The strangers smash up the house. You can hear, I love that, where she's like in the ditch and you can hear them going and just destroying the house, smashing everything up.
Sound is good in this movie. Good.
You know what they did really well about this movie is the parts of the movie where they think they're hidden. These people always know where they are at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he's about to shoot the pinup girl.
Yeah.
Like you always have in the back of their head that they think they're hidden, but they always know where you are, and that's kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say one thing though is before he does shoot pinup girl, I think, again, this is just my thought, I think that was another thing that Baghead wasn't calculating for because you don't see it any other time in this movie except for this, because you hear him sprint up on James.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh fuck, like he's got to do something before he ends up shooting this other person.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he doesn't want to lose a member of the team.
Not pinup girl.
No.
So Kristen has to crawl to the barn because of her leg. Dollface or pinup, I called her Dollface number 2 because I couldn't figure out what her name was, but I think the pinup girl was the one who stalks her behind her and then disappears.
It was Lady Mask to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Kristen makes it to the barn and she finds the radio, but she can't get it to work. And then the strangers are toying with her outside. You can hear them walking around and making noise out there. And then Pinup Girl takes an axe to the radio as someone finally answers it.
Yeah.
Which is always the case. Kristen makes her way back to the house and hides from the strangers. She hobbles her way back into the house. But don't make all that noise, Kristen. You're trying to be sneaky. And she just, she just makes so much noise too.
There's a scene here I like when she's going back to the house where she's kind of like laying down.
Where she's
not limping.
Yeah.
We'll gloss over that. But there's a scene where she's laying down and then she sees Baghead like over to the right, kind of like watching the house, and then he like moves into the house. I think it's kind of neat that she was watching him do this, even though obviously I'm pretty sure they know where she's at. But he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go in the house. You kind of see it from a different perspective. It's just kind of neat.
And so when she makes it back into the house, oh, sorry, would you want to say something?
I would just agree.
Oh, okay. She wanders back into the house and she hides in a pantry. And this is
always the best idea.
This is where you get the great scene of Baghead kind of wandering around looking he's not looking very well. He's kind of just wandering around looking in different places, but you can hear him breathing the whole time. Oh man, that makes it even worse. You could just hear him it's like when you watch Halloween in the scene, the very first scene you see Laurie Strode and her friends, and they're walking down the sidewalk and Michael's behind the hedge, and it shows the shot of behind Michael and you can hear him breathing as he's watching them walk away.
Can we all just agree that this dude is a big man?
Mm-hmm.
He has to be.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
So he doesn't see her, or he knows she's in there, but he just doesn't. He's not the one who's going to get her. He wanders away, but then Dollface shows up and pulls her out of the pantry. She gets out and wanders around. She gets out and wanders around until Baghead knocks her out. She's bleeding and clawing at the floor, which is, oh God, I hate that. Especially it's wood floor and she's like trying to like claw at it. She's being dragged back.
I'm like, you know how much that has to hurt.
Mm-hmm. It is now, the sun is out and both both of our main characters are tied to chairs, and Kristen is back in her dress that she was wearing from the wedding, and James has been in the same outfit the entire movie, but he's got his jacket back on.
Well, there's a scene earlier before Baggett knocks her out. It's in the kitchen between what's her name?
Kristen.
Kristen, yeah, Kristen and Dollface, whatever the fuck her name is. Where the knife's on the counter, and Dollface starts kind of like fucking with the knife,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Kristen's character like grabs that little paring knife.
Yep.
Like,
What's she gonna do with that?
And it's just cool, like it's that whole tension. Like, is she gonna grab the knife? Is she gonna do her in? And then Baggett just kind of knocks her out.
Yep.
I just think it was a neat little tension building scene.
Yeah. So
It's all tension building.
I know, but it's a good scene. Like
this whole
it's
movie,
really cool.
This whole movie is just all tension all the time.
The whole reason she goes and hides is because she hears him play the piano,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Oh shit, he's in the house."
Yep.
Oh, hey, how articulate.
Yeah, and you see,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
and then you see him. Well, at first you see him wander into that bedroom at the end of the hall, and then he comes out, does the whole walk around and everything, and such a great. The whole sequence is great. So
I
then,
was hoping he's gonna sit and eat the ice cream.
yeah, right. He just takes
table.
off his mask to eat some ice cream. So now both of them are caught. They're tied to chairs. She's wearing her dress again, and she's crying, and she's just asking them like, "Why are you doing this?" And I love this is one of the greatest responses. She just was it Pinup Girl?
It's the
Or was it
Dollface.
Dollface? She goes,
Because you were home.
"It's because you were
she's like-
home," which is just
I was
so
like, "Oh my gosh, they can
terrifying.
speak."
Mhm.
So terrifying.
Yes.
Such good.
So we get our final goodbyes to the main characters as every one of the strangers takes off their mask, and I love that you never see their face.
Yes.
It
that's
doesn't
perfect.
matter that this is the end of the movie. You never see their, even until the credits roll, you never see what these characters look like. You kind of see what Dollface looks like a little bit from the final scene, but you really never see what any of these characters truly look
You
like.
only ever see like the sides of their faces.
Speaking of on that is, I also love that in this movie they like most horror movies, slashers, whatever. There's always at the end they always bring it back to like, oh, this is why they picked these people to kill them because they knew their cousin of all cousins was a murderer or something. But in this one, it's just they just pick these people randomly. Like the comment that they like you were home is pretty much like you just have bad luck. Like we have no connection to you. We just wanted to terrorize people.
Yep. So we then get the very ceremonial stabbing, like each of them, like just like it's not like a quick stabs. They do like the slow kill, which then you like see the emotion on their faces as they're being murdered. After that, we then see two boys riding their bikes walk by the truck. The strangers are driving away from the scene. And these two boys are walking alongside their bike, and the girl, who I'm guessing is Dollface, comes out and asks for one of the pamphlets that the young boys have, and it says Christian Living on it.
Which is actually a hint towards the second film.
The boy,
Yeah, because he asks, "Are you a sinner?"
Are you a sinner? Sometimes.
yes,
And
sometimes.
she's like, "Sometimes."
And I believe that's when Pinup Girl, she also says something too. She's like, next time it's going to be,
It'll be easier next time.
it'll be easier next time. And I think that's her only line. Or no, because Pinup Girl was the one who said, "Is tomorrow here?" Right?
No.
Oh, was it
Dollface.
Dollface? God, it's so confusing between the two of them. I'm just like,
Yeah.
who's who in
Well,
this damn
Dollface,
thing?
I just remember because Dollface was blonde and Pinup Girl was brunette.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
think
I kinda
Dollface says
could
all the
keep them-
lines except for Pinup Girl's one at the very
Yeah,
end.
I could kind of keep them separated.
The two boys riding their bikes walk by the strange. Oh, I already said that. The boys discover the carnage left behind by the strangers, and you get the same scene you see in the beginning of the movie. They discover James's dead body, and then one of the boys goes over to Kristen's body, where he's kind of he kneels down and he's gonna like touch her, and she wakes up, grabs his arm, and screams, and then boom, it's over.
Those boys, I would not be touching either one of them.
Terrorized. That is
Right?
I thought that,
I mean,
I thought that was
really?
a good ending, though. I love
Yeah,
the
it was.
ending.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
it's
was-
truly
okay,
a traumatizing experience.
The first time I watched, I almost shit myself when she screamed. Because I was like, oh, it's over. It's all good. And I wasn't paying much attention. Then she screamed, and just a little poop came out. It's fine.
Just a little.
Yeah.
That's what you got underwear for, my
Yeah,
friend.
exactly. It's got a new pair. Everything's good.
All right. Well, that is The Strangers. Oh, one last trivia question for you, Dan. What was the gun that James uses in this movie?
Mossberg 500.
Okay. Good job.
I try.
Do you know how to load it?
I do, actually.
I do too.
I do. I'm going to replace one of my shotguns tomorrow, but yes, I do know how to load a shotgun.
You sure you just didn't say that?
I just said it because I just said it because I never went hunting with my dad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's great.
Well, that was I enjoy that movie very much. It's definitely a good spooky movie to watch during this time of year. I've seen it a bunch of times. Adam's seen it a bunch of times. It's always good to have, like me and him having seen it so many times to get our experiences, but also like what you guys think, especially since it's your first go around with this.
Yeah, I'm actually glad this is the first film I picked, and I'm glad they actually enjoyed it. I would have.
Well, just think of it this way. I know there's one you missed out for Halloween so far, Adam, but like every movie we've done for Halloween has been good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did miss one.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's definitely not like Jaws.
Holy crap!
Or Resident Evil.
Oh,
God,
God. That's even worse.
I was gonna say that might be worse.
So the guy that plays Baghead is actually 6'2". I looked that up.
He was breathing hard when he was dragging him away.
Yeah.
I know.
It must just be like the camera angles because he seems so big in certain scenes when he's like standing there.
But that's the thing, though. Is I think
It's
because the two girls that he's with are very small. Like Pinup Girl and Dollface, they're very small. So
His
like he towers
stature,
over
though,
them.
from
Yeah, he's wide. I mean, when he stands
He's
there,
wide.
well, he also like
Yeah.
slouches a little bit, which is kind of creepy to me. Like when he stands there, he's kind of like.
Well, how
Not bad.
tall is
Not
Liv
bad
Tyler?
posture.
And what's
I don't think Liv Tyler
Dickhead
is
James?
very tall
No.
either.
5'9". I just made that.
Well,
up.
that's
It
actually
sounds
pretty
good.
tall for
I
mean,
a woman.
I just made that up.
I was like, that'd be pretty tall.
As a-
Really. 5'10".
Okay, she is
She's tall
5'10",
for a lady.
so she's tall.
Yeah.
But
It might just be
I
the
mean,
angles, because
he could also be wearing. He could also be wearing taller shoes. You never really see his feet.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
So-
You don't really see his feet.
I know that. I know.
We don't even get to see his
5'11".
feet or his face. What a rip.
Cutting off all those delicious fetishes.
Yeah.
dude.
So like the actors.
She's
Okay, she's
5'10".
5'10". Like everybody is super tall. Scott Speedman's 5'11".
So that's kind of
Dollface is 5'10".
Wow.
Liv Tyler's
5'10".
5'10".
5'9". Yeah.
How old is she? Okay, so Pinup Girl is 5'4".
Okay.
So yeah.
But seeing them all stand side by side at the end, you kind of notice a height difference, so that makes sense. But I still think he was wearing taller shoes.
Yeah, they may have, like you said, it may have been just been angles and perspective is how they did it. Make them look larger.
Yeah, it must. Why? Why does the guy that plays the man in the mask? Why does he look like he'd kill somebody anyways?
Yeah, he
His face,
totally
he's like-
does.
Poor guy.
God,
He's got
intense.
he's a big guy and he's got a big beard and it's like that guy looks like he could kill somebody. It's like what the fuck?
Look at his face. He looks like someone shit in his cereal.
Shave your face, you psychopath.
He's probably like the nicest guy.
Kip.
Oh my
Kip
god!
Weeks.
I don't like his IMDb picture though. He needs to.
What was he? What
He
else
needs
has
a
he
new
been
one.
in? Glory Road and Spencer Confidential. Oh boy, those are some
But
good
it's like
ones.
he's
A WinRAR is you.
he was okay. He's from Bogota.
Okay.
He's lived in Nigeria.
Fake news.
Or just
He's a fake man. He's just.
He is 100%.
You're fake.
Glory Road. What is
Did you
that?
say glory hole?
oh my
You know,
God.
no, Glory
The end of
Road.
this,
Right
the end of
there.
this show is going off the rails right now.
Boom, bitch.
Leave it to this one. To
Always.
So out
Okay,
left
I
field.
gotta say something about the movie. Another thing I liked about the film, and this is something I like in a lot of like, especially horror films,
Mhm.
is I love the lack of information.
Yeah.
Outside of what they mentioned, it was just because they were home. No, you don't know anything about them. You don't know anything about them beforehand. Nothing is explained. It just happens. And like I said before at the beginning, I mentioned it, but it's pretty much all of this is in one locale. Outside of a little bit of this shows at the wedding, which is inconsequential because it's like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything's in this one location, and it just feels really self-contained, and it just helps build the creepy atmosphere. 100%.
And I don't know if it wasn't because I wasn't not paying attention, but not like taking this part in. Like I didn't realize it was his family home.
Yeah, he mentions about the gun. It's like my dad should have a gun.
But like
here.
I didn't know. I didn't.
Yeah, because
Not know,
and
but
she
I
also
didn't
sees the notches
realize
in the wood. With
Until
him.
that- until that part, and it's like I guess it didn't really set in that it was a family home
2 brothers
until he was looking for the gun, and I was like, oh, well, he knows his way around because he wants to go to the shed, and I was like, how does he know there's a radio in the shed?
Yeah.
But
Everyone keeps a radio in their shed.
I mean,
all the
really?
time.
Oh,
You gotta
shortwave
in your shed or in your basement if you have one.
Oh, of course.
And we're in our basement.
I used to use it
Me
with
too.
my dad.
Basement dwellers.
Do you know how to use this radio?
We sleep in our basement.
I thought you said you use the radio with your dad. That's just something I said.
Yeah, I know. I actually don't know how to turn it on.
Alrighty. Well, that was The Strangers. So next week's episode, since I haven't announced it yet, no one here in the show knows what movie I'm
We
picking.
have no
I don't
idea.
know.
Like, what do we want?
Debbie does Dallas.
Next week's episode is going to be The Ring.
Oh, okay, cool. I dig it. I thought it was gonna be like Critters. I was
Not-
like, oh, hey.
So-
Billy Zane's in that one.
So we have so there was
I knew
3
that
movies
movie.
that I had in mind. One of them was The Shining, but I would love to do a Shining and Doctor Sleep back-to-back episodes at some point. It doesn't have to be Halloween, but I
Give me
figured
some-
those movies need to go together.
Yes, give me some time and I
The
will
Ring,
be prepared.
The Ring is one of those movies. I picked The Ring because The Ring truly terrified me as a kid. Like it scared the shit out of me as a kid. I haven't seen it in a very long time, and the sequels are trash. So I don't care about doing the sequels. This
That's
movie,
up to you.
yeah, this is going to be interesting. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but I'm excited to watch it again. And
Watch it closer too.
The first time I watched it, I was like 7 and I cried.
I'll cry right now.
And then for the final episode of the month, it's still a surprise. You're gonna have to find out next week after that episode. So
I'm not gonna say it is. I know who it is. And you probably mentioned it last episode, but I know who it is, and I'm not expecting anything good from it, all right?
Don't be mean.
No,
To my friends.
Wow.
it'll be all right. I'm
Wow,
just kidding.
Dan.
Chill the fuck
Oh,
out.
wow.
God.
Don't be mean to
Listen,
my friends.
if anybody's gonna pick shitty movies around here, it's gonna be me. So everybody knows that.
The Fly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it. You watched me.
Also, we mentioned. Sorry. Go ahead.
Seriously, he said something about
Me?
a shitty movie, and I'm like, yes, this coming from the person that likes the Giant
The
Claw.
Giant Claw is a fucking brilliant movie. It's
No,
so
it's
bad. It's
not.
good. It is. You ever seen The Beast of Yucca Flats?
I
With the
have
hideous
watched
sun
a
demon? What is
lot
wrong with
of
you?
bad movies with you.
Just,
I want to know how he
listen.
finds these
Listen.
movies.
I
love
feel.
these
I feel
movies.
like I don't know anything that's going on. I feel like he could just be making shit up, just making words up.
I'm not. I'm 100% not making it
I heard
up.
the word yucca, and that was the first time I've ever heard that in my life. So I don't.
Also, this month we're not just doing these Spooktober movies. We're also going to be reviewing the Chucky show, which is premiering on October 15th. We're going to be doing a short, like unedited review on every episode of that. Plus, the same day, Halloween Kills is coming out in theaters and on Peacock. So I would like to do a review on a quick, like unedited
Peacock.
review on Halloween Kills, which is the second movie of the new Halloween trilogy that's out. The first one was the 2018 Halloween. I'm excited because I loved the 2018 Halloween. That's a true sequel to the original Halloween, and I love it. And I can't wait to see how good or how this one plays out. So look forward to our Spooktober movies. So like next week we're doing The Ring. We're gonna be doing the first episode of Chucky, probably the weekend after it's released, and we're going to do a short review on Halloween Kills. So stay tuned for all that. I don't have dates on when those are going to be released, but stay tuned. We're going to be doing
They'll
those.
be happening.
It's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
And just FYI, I will state it. Some of these episodes are recorded way before, so that for editing purposes, work purposes, because me and Adam work crazy work shifts, and I know Dan and Ara do as well.
I thought you were gonna say that you work and we don't.
No, you don't.
All right, fair enough.
No.
I wish I didn't.
I see that government check.
So yeah,
I
so
love it not.
but we're gonna be making sure you guys get an episode every single week for this month and for the foreseeable future, unless something crazy happens. Like, you know, I have a kid at the end of this month.
That's never gonna happen.
I'm so excited.
That's fake news.
Fake
100%.
news, fake news. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. Make sure to drop a like, comment on what you thought of the movie. Make sure to form your own opinion. Go watch the movie yourself and leave us a comment on what you thought about it. Or maybe we made some mistakes or we forgot to mention something. Make sure to put those in the comments. Also, drop a sub on the channel because we need to get to 100 subscribers so we can get our URL, because
Do it.
I want to be youtube.com/dissect that film instead of youtube.com/75 letters. Okay.
YC 104th.
Yes. All right. So
Yes.
drop that sub. Also, make sure to go follow us and leave us a rating over on whatever podcast service you listen to the show on. We are on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and Spotify. So make sure to go listen over there. Thank you all for the support. I am Brett Parker. That is DNA Gaming. And that is Adam Parker. And we are Dissect That Film. And this has been the Dissect That Film podcast. We'll see you all next week.